My name's Bee Boulay.
Okay. Hi there. Name is Marcus Hardesty.
Hey, hello, my name is William Coyne.
Hi, I'm Madeline DeCourcy.
I'm Ray Robinson.
Hi, my name is Asali Kemper.
I've changed my way of seeing things. It's for the better, I'm sure. This love that I'm feeling, I feel it more.
I'm a storyteller. I came to this craft lifestyle, complete heartbreak and of a joy, through just being a weird kid.
I work at Prestige Plaza down here in downtown Ashland. I'm a barber. That's what I do. I think I've been acting, I've been singing for probably as long as I can remember, maybe about almost 10 years ago.
I am an actor and a writer, and I work pretty much full-time with an alcohol and drug treatment program here in Medford.
I am an actress, director, writer, and artist.
And actually, I started college my first year as a fine arts student, drawing and painting primarily. I did a little bit of sculpture, though I didn't feel I could handle that very well. But then I met someone that I'd gone to high school with, and he was going to another college, and he mentioned the program he was in, where he was studying photography, and he mentioned that it also had a film program, and I immediately just went, wow, film. It is like it never even occurred to me that that would be something that I could do. So I switched to that major, just feeling as though film was such a powerful medium in so many ways, but for me, from an artistic level, it was just so powerful with the way that it can move people, the way it can tell stories.
I am a poet here at Jackson County. So what led me to becoming a poet, or just poetry in general, was actually just like stemming from my love for music, especially like lyrics. I wanted to be a lyricist when I was like a kid, but then I Googled like how much lyricists make in their career, and I was pretty devastated, long story short. But when I got into college, community college and took a introductory to poetry, the rest was history.
And I went to theater when I was a small person with my mom. She introduced me to like Gilbert and Sullivan. I didn't know that there were plays without songs in them until I saw Shakespeare. And then I thought all plays had to be in verse or some kind of conceit. And then I saw Proof, which is a wonderful first play to see. And then I saw the Bible abridged. As someone who was raised Catholic, that was another completely mind-blowing experience. So the theater became my favorite spot to be.
I started doing theater back when, straight out of high school. I did Cinderella the musical as my first gig, and then the road just kind of took off from there. Then moved up to Portland for a while to see if I can work something out of there, and then ultimately discovered that I was going to work in the hair industry, and then ended up right here in this chair.
What led me to writing and theater? I have no idea what led me to writing, because I did it from a really young age. And I'm a bit of a binge writer. There will be long periods of time when I don't write anything, and then I lock myself in a room and write for very long periods of time. And since I'm interested in playwriting, normally you kind of have to do it that way. Acting started, I think it had a lot to seeing old movies, and thinking at some point that maybe that was something I could do. And I did all the stuff that kids who become actors do, like little shows in the backyard, that type of thing. And I got much more involved in a more disciplined way at some point in high school.
Well, One of my dearest performances in memory was getting to play Annie Sullivan in The Miracle Worker, and it was the first production I got to perform in after graduating from college with my theater degree, and it was the last play that my mother got to see me in before she passed away. So that will forever be something that is just a gem in my heart. I came to
Journey. Even though I'm now officially retired from my day job, I continue to pursue this art, and will probably do that as long as I can.
Magazines. When I was growing up, it was harder for me to just like how to express myself and just talk to others, and just writing poetry is able to let me express myself and have my thoughts, and also challenge me in a way to challenge the language as well as how I want to express myself in the way that I've been thinking, or thoughts, as well as like my own experiences in life. So it's really helpful.
My first producing experience, I guess, was at my first college at Foothill. And this was a baby that was already in the world. So I just helped raise it a little. This one wasn't totally mine. But it was a student-run class that just had like a teacher supervisor. But everything else was all student-run by 2 co-leaders. And it was a student-written, directed, produced, acted class. And my second year at that school, I was the president of that class. And by the 3rd term, we had like maxed out enrollment because we had improved the program. It was kind of faltering a little bit with the leadership and that stuff, and it needed some revitalizing. And that was my first experience, like being in front of a group of people to help tell stories.
Well, basically, over the years, what it came down to is I wanted to have the ability to give a safe space in any shape or form, be it up on the stage, be it haircut and hair. So what I did was I used a lot of my experience, kind of getting to know people, learning their stories, and from there it just kind of developed into more interests and more abilities to kind of spread my web around in the Ashland area.
How do writing and acting shape your identity and life choices? I think someone who writes perceives situations as stories, maybe more than other people. A lot of things become potential stories. And that doesn't mean you always write them down on paper, but but it comes into your head and you see it a little differently. On my walk home, that I would do the same walk every day, and it frequently helps me write a haiku, some little thing I see. So I think that writing has made me a person who really does stop and smell the roses. I could do a lot more of that, frankly. But acting has been responsible for a couple of moves. The idea of that a place might be a better place to pursue that. I've never been a professional actor. I've been semi-professional. I've had some paying jobs, that sort of thing. But my move here had something to do with knowing that there was a lot of theater activity in the area.
I came to discover these things about myself because my mom knew I had some kind of artistic energy that needed to come out. And every time I do like a little skit or play, like in kindergarten, I was grandma in She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain When She Comes. And I remember the amazing feeling I got when I sat up and snored and the audience died laughing, and the powerful feeling that was, and I just wanted to do more of that. So
I can. Like so many people, when I got my degree, and this was up in Montana State University, I immediately went down to Hollywood, because if you go into film, you of course have to go to Hollywood or to New York. But I went down to Hollywood and very, very quickly decided that really I didn't want to live in Hollywood, that I definitely preferred a more rural lifestyle. And here in the Rogue Valley, I don't consider it to be really rural, what I define as rural, but it's definitely a smaller town vibe here, and I enjoy that. So basically, you have this idea of what your career is going to be. And a big part of that is working in the industry. And working in the industry, especially back then, in the 70s, would have been going to the big city, going to Hollywood. When I discovered I did not want to live in the big city, it really changed everything for me. It was like, okay, what do I do now? I have all these dreams, I have all these goals, and now I essentially am looking at not being able to accomplish those because of where I've decided to live. Fortunately, I did get a job at a TV station in Great Falls, Montana, primarily making TV commercials. And so there was that opportunity for me to start working in the biz.
So recently I released a micro chapbook called Finally the Mixtape. It was published under Gashing Tea Publishing. It's very exciting because it's a hybrid of audio and poetry. It comes with a CD of me reading my poems and just like a little insert, a booklet of my poems so you can read and follow along. And it's very exciting. I released that in the summer. And I wanted to write a collection that's like focusing on like music, because I have my passion for music, my love for music, and just be able to write poems that are based on the songs that I love. And
As a kid wanting to do some kind of artistic thing and not really knowing what that could be, both my parents are engineers, science, mathematic type people, and that never felt like what my path led to. So I didn't know what a career was. I didn't know what a career could be. So it definitely helped me like explore things more.
Every day, kind of what I do is I make people, I give them what they're looking for. I give them different haircuts. I try to boost their self-esteem through the art of my craft. Be it through like a scissor cut, a straight razor shave, a lot of beard care that I go into. I like to make my clients leave the room happier than when they came in, a bigger smile, so to speak.
So the process of creating, there are some similarities between writing and acting, but then there's some big differences. And with writing, for me, I walk around with the idea for a very long time, and I'll find myself constructing little scenes in my head and so on if it's a play. And it will take me sometimes years to actually put it on paper. But then there are other projects that have a sudden appeal, and there I am doing them. That's especially helpful if someone's given me a deadline. But it has something to do with being able to see the thing in your head. And I believe I'm a very visual person, so if I'm working on a little thing, I got to put together a bookcase or something. I can see it. I can see it completed. When I cook or bake bread, I have some idea of how it's going to turn out, and then I need to get there. And of course, I don't always. And with the garden, I usually have an idea of how it's supposed to look, and I'll look at a tree and say, "Yep, that branch has to go." So I rely on the visual sense quite a lot. And as an actor, my process, I'm not a deep thinker. I'm not unintelligent, but I don't ponder things. So I work fairly intuitively, I think. And I try different things, I hope, because I like that kind of spontaneous feel in the work. And I enjoy a director who allows that process.
My love of storytelling through the medium of theater has affected my whole life because I wanted to take it very seriously and know the science behind it. because even in art there is science to it, which when I discovered that was so exciting, to be able to dissect a scene and dissect a character and really care about every word on the page.
Art. It wasn't until just like less than 25 years ago that it's sort of like another light bulb went on. For me, it was that I didn't go to film school to make television commercials and to do marketing videos and all that other stuff. And certainly I'm very grateful for having the opportunity that I had of making a career out of that. But I really wanted to make my own films, and that's when I decided that's what I should do. So I jumped into doing that, really without any money.
Yeah. So the process, I think for writing wise, it depends on like the writing, and sometimes I know it's tedious to say like if it comes from inspiration because it depends on the writer. But sometimes if I do get inspiration, I'll write it down. But most of the time, if there's like a subject that I've been thinking about for a very long time, I tend to write down like the title at least, or just like write down some like words that could fit to the poem. And sometimes if I get a prompt, prompts are always good to have. So it's like if there's a prompt that I radiate so much to, or I've just like been engaged with and or just passionate about, then I will write based on that prompt.
Being a thriving artist to me means living alive in the moment of creation and recognizing when it's time to let that piece go to be not just yours, but everyone else's.
I think what it means to be a thriving artist means that you have kind of obtained that kind of vibe, that mentality that you are maybe not at the pinnacle, but you're at least pursuing something that means something to you.
So what does thriving artist mean to me? I think that it has to do with incorporating your art into your life in some way. Your perspective changes if you're someone who works with the arts. I think you see life more vividly, and I think it makes you a more passionate person.
Thriving artist means that in your pursuit of knowledge and exploration in whatever field you're into, don't forget to take care of yourself. Your tool is your body most of the time in most art fields. So you need to take self-care very seriously. Eat, drink water, sleep. These things are important, and you cannot be artistic and creative if you aren't covering your bottom line.
I guess a lot of people would consider me to be a thriving artist, and that's nice. I mean, I like that idea. For artists to thrive, it takes a lot of support from a lot of people, but perhaps mostly from yourself. You can't be held back.
What it means to be a thriving artist. I feel like I'm still learning that too. I feel like I'm learning that now, but I think it's most so about when I think of the name thriving artist, I think of just constantly learning. There's always been new challenges and new stuff that's been popping up everywhere you go, no matter what, even though you think you know it, but then all of a sudden something came up. But I think it's just like learning to be, just learning new things every day, but also just being kind to others and come in, not be afraid to be strong, but also it's good to be soft. And I learned this from my friend Liz Flo, that softness can be strength.
I changed my way of seeing things. It's for the better, I'm sure. This love